Good day to you all. Welcome to my channel. My name is Marlies. Today we're going to make some little book boxes with journals inside. These book boxes are for my Halloween journal, so I want a darker color on all the edges. I am using my Distress Oxide ink black Soot to cover all edges in a dark color. I do not work with exact measurements for this book box because every journal and every journal page has its own measurements, and that is why I used my journal, my folio, to get the right measurement for my book box. I decided to make my boxes even darker, so I got out my Liquitex acrylic ink carbon black. I used the dropper right out of the bottle, put it on mostly on the edges, and wet it down with my water bottle sprayer. For a closure, in the end, this turned out as a faux closure, but for the closure you need 2 holes. So I have my big bite and I'm going to punch the holes before gluing the box, because you also have to make a punch in the middle of the box, and that cannot be done when the box is glued. For my faux closure, I used black cardstock, punched out circles, in the middle again a hole, and I sprayed it with the mica stain Ominous Twilight. I already have the punched holes, so now it is key to just set the eyelets in place. Repeat the setting of the eyelets also on your second box. That also goes for the rest of this video. Maybe you will see me work on just one box, but be aware I'm working on both boxes at the same time. To reach a little bit better inside of the box, I am punching out half a circle on the top. The base of the box is done, so let's go to the gluing part. I have put my boxes to the side so they can dry, and now I can focus on creating some embellishments that will go on top of those boxes. I have cut out 2 circles out of regular black cardstock, and I want to roughen them up a little bit more, so I got out my paper distresser for all the edges. I got out my Halloween sticker book and I am aiming for the skulls. I really think the size is perfect for this circular shape, and yeah, they fit very well in the center. Just a black circle with a skull could be a little bit boring, so I got out one of the backdrops from Tim Holtz Halloween release this year. I have cut out 2 larger circles, and I'm going to give them the same roughening up technique with the paper distresser as I did on the black ones. I also want all the edges of my circles to have a color on there, a distress color. And for the backdrop, I have chosen the Distress Oxide ink black Soot. And for the black circle with the skull, I have chosen to go for the Distress ink Vintage Photo. This distress color will mostly be seen on the skull, so for the black I decided to go with something different. I got out my Distress Oxide Spray Walnut Stain, and I'm just working with the nozzle right away out of the bottle, and I'm going to stain the black and also a little bit on top of the skull. And in this close-up you will get a better view of the result that I was aiming for. But I wanted to do something more, something extra, so I got out my Glossy Accents and I am putting on an even layer on top of the black circle and the skull. And while my glue is still wet, I will dip in the circle in my glitter Nightfall. This is the result after drying. I would like to put the circles together, but I need some extra layering in between, so I have chosen to do that with some mummy cloth and also some loose black thread. My skull embellishments are good to go, but only a skull on top of a book box, it's not so interesting. So I got out these 2 strips out of the Ephemera pack from Halloween from Tim Holtz this year. And I want to build some layers. So I'm going to do that with some pieces of backdrop that I have torn. And I'm going to ink up all my papers and embellishments and roughen them up with the paper distresser. The result that I'm looking for is a stacked and layered effect of my papers like this, and I also would like to attach it with a running stitch. I will glue the skull embellishment in the middle of the longer strip, so you do not have to glue the whole circle. Just a strip of glue in the middle of the circle is enough. Next thing to do is glue down the whole strip to the book box, and before gluing the whole book box to my journal page, I saw I had some clear areas on my page. I would like to fill that up, and I'm using my Halloween design tape to do so, and I'm also creating a little embellishment on top of the page with half a circle and a little piece of ephemera. After gluing down the book box, this is what we will have. Now let's glue down the second one. Out of this backdrop I will cut 2 journal covers. As soon as I have the right size, I will use my scoreboard to score 2 lines as a spine. For now I have 2 journal covers, but I want to be sure of my measurements, so I'm going to check it inside of the book box. For all the corners of the journal cover, I have cut out of black cardstock 4 squares, and those squares I'm going to cut in half, and I will cut those triangles on all corners with my Distress Collage medium matte. I also need a filling, so here comes in my tea-dyed paper. First of all, I'm going to do 1 sheet, and I'm going to make it fit perfectly for inside, and then you will have your great example for all the other pages to make. The papers are divided in 2 stacks, so this journal will have 2 sections inside. But I do want some extra color and staining on top of those papers. So here is my vintage distress ink, and I'm going to blend in this color on all the edges of my pages. I will also add some extra staining on top of the pages. I am using my vintage distress ink, and I have dabbed it onto my craft sheet, wet it down and broke up the color with my fingers. All pages will be dabbed into those little ink drops. To bring in an extra effect, I also have my Oxide spray walnut stain. I will spray something on my craft sheet, and I will use a brush also with the vintage photo color, but also with the walnut stain color, and I'm going to splatter around on top of my pages. After staining and splattering, make sure that your papers are dry so you can use them in the journal. What we have is 2 journal covers and the inside 2 sections of tea-dyed paper, but I think the cover needs a little bit more attention. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. So I'm starting off with distressing the edges with my paper distresser, and I'm going to ink them all up with the black Soot Distress Oxide color. On the inside of the journal cover, I glued an extra strip of black paper to reinforce the spine because I'm going to stitch in my sections. For punching the holes, I am using an awl. I am also going to use these holes to line up one of the inner sections, the tea-dyed paper. So I'm going to line them up and I'm going to eyeball the place where I think the hole needs to be for putting and pulling the thread through. For the stitching part of those two sections, you will need a needle and thread. When both sections are in, your spine will look like this. And let us also take a look on the inside. For the outer spine I also have a reinforcement and I will glue that down just with simple collage medium and I will hold it in place until all papers have a good adherence. You could also use some clips to hold everything in place. I found these pieces of ephemera for the journal cover and I have inked them up with the lumberjack plaid. As soon as these pieces are roughened up and inked up, it is time to glue them down. Thread, that is the last step that I'm going to do, a little accent. I will wrap it around the little journal and tie it off in a little bow. And then we are done and we can put it into the book box. I had so much fun making this. I hope you also enjoyed my video about it. When you do, please like, subscribe or comment down below. Have a great day. Bye!